Hey, gang, and welcome to the Talking the Orville watch party of Season 1, Episode 7 of the Orville. A huge episode for the series as a whole. Majority Rule is one of the big ones, you guys. It's one of the game changers, and we're going to be watching it tonight. And while we're watching this amazing episode, this groundbreaking episode, I'm going to be not only giving commentary on the episode with you guys, also giving commentary, but also a bunch of behind the scenes information and facts about the episode. And also, I want to just say once again, the Orville is coming back for season 4. The Orville has been renewed, has been picked up for a 4th season. And as we already know, announced by Scott Grimes, Lieutenant Gordon Malloy, one of our favorites aboard the bridge of the ECV-197 Orville ship for the Union. Production begins the beginning of the year, 2025, January-ish, you guys. And what does that mean? Filming, production starts. They start building stuff. They start setting stuff up. They start getting prepared, and they bring everybody in, and they start filming and putting together the show that we all love. And we are hoping to get to know more and more and more of as the years travel through this thing that some people call time. If you're a person that believes in time, we're going to have a lot more time with the Orville coming up. And we're always going to have time with the Orville right here on Talking the Orville. What's going on, you guys? Chris, Andrew, Lone Puppy, Deck, Archmage, Frey, Dark Helmet, and the rest are filing in. I can see your numbers over here on my analytics screen. Don't see your comments yet, but I have given you a number. It's right there. It's going up and up and up. What's going on, guys? Chris says this episode, this is the episode that sold me on the entire series. It's so relevant today and how. And I do have to say this episode really sold me on the Orville as well as general audiences absolutely love this episode. This is the top episode from the season. Well, second to the top, but it's the top episode, I believe, for episodes that aired on Thursdays. The pilot had huge numbers as well, but of course that was on a Sunday and it was after the huge game. There's reasons that the audience was inflated a little bit. Had inflated numbers because people were watching the footballs. But this episode, people were just like, I want to watch the Orville. Oh, this episode is amazing. What's going on, you guys? So on a personal note, some of you already know, I finally got the job I've been searching for all this time. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I don't personally even know exactly what it is, but I kind of know what it is. But I got a job as a social media, very appropriate for today's episode, social media content moderator for one of the big guys, one of the big social media companies out there. Can't tell you which one it is. I don't even necessarily know which one it is, but it's one of the big ones. People are be posting stuff, and I'll be there looking at their stuff, saying yay or nay, or might have to flag this one. But of course, I'll have help from the algorithm sending me stuff. One thing I'm excited about, besides having a job, like a steady 40-hour-a-week job. Oh wait, hold on a second. I just got a message. I might be too late. It might be about another job, which I don't think. I got to read this message real quick. Oh, it's about the job. I have to respond to her. I'll do it when the episode starts. Anyway, I'm excited to have a 40 hours per week full-time job with all the benefits, the medicals and the dentals and the paid, the PTO and the vacations and just work all the time. But I'm also excited because the job is an evening schedule, because that's when most people are posting on social media. didn't usually ever want to work in the evenings, but it's okay because now my schedule allows me to get up in the morning and work on making content for Talking the Orville and Egotastic Fun Time, like a full solid first half of the day block every single day. So I'm actually really excited about that. I'm like, oh, this is going to allow me to do everything I need to do, as well as my start time allows me to go pick up my stepson from high school and bring him home every day before I go to work. So I'm able to get all my family duties done and my content creation duties done easily. And one thing I will have to say, though, is when I officially go into having the job, like after the training, I have to do a month of training. But once the month of training starts, my schedule begins. The last couple episodes of season 1 watch party, I might have to change the start times. Maybe I might have to have the last couple episodes probably be on a Saturday, which might just work out better anyway. But I'm super excited, you guys. I'm going to be the provider that I wanted to be. And it gives me all the time I need to rebuild all the YouTube stuff. I'm super excited. Archmage says, duty. I get it. I get it. I'm picking up what you're laying down, but I hope you're not laying down duty. Concerned Oliver says, this is my favorite episode as it is a perfect example of the dangers of a true democracy, something that people think the U.S. is, but it's not. No, it's not. There are rules and regulations going on here. There is back and forth going on here. There is fact checking going on here. Not as much as there used to be, but facts used to matter a little bit more than they used to. But the internet, social media has changed a lot of the way some things are done, or the ways people think some things are done. The topic of this episode, it hits me right square in the heart, because this is a topic I've been passionate about for many, many years, is the effects of social media on human society. Social media is great in so many ways. It's horrible in other ways, really horrible. And some of it, to me, is like, I don't think the human race, our minds, are prepared for the effects for what social media brings to us yet. We haven't evolved that far yet. We are not meant to see every thought and opinion from so many stupid people all at the same time. We can handle a little bit, and it's good to have a little bit so you can think about things and know where certain people are coming from. But it's so much that all the smart brain stuff is getting glossed over. Chris says, call her back, JP. You got to make a good impression the first few weeks. One thing I'm worried about this job, because I need to start it ASAP. I need to start it yesterday. I have the possible option to start this new job this Monday, which is, I'm like, the sooner the better. There's a training class. The first training class starts this Monday, but the class is full. I am on the list as an alternate. I'm number 1 on the list as an alternate. And so I'm just going to show up on Monday. And if somebody doesn't show up, I'm going to take their spot so I can start this Monday, because I need to start this Monday. I got bills to pay, Jack. And if I'm not able to start this Monday, I have to wait until the 30th to do my 4 weeks of training. But I also want to get into this job because it's kind of one of them exciting, fun. I don't know if it's going to be that fun. I'm going to be seeing some horrible stuff every day. But it's one of them fun environments. It's kind of call center, but it's fancy. They got games to play. They got an amazing break room. And they got the Taco Tuesdays, and they do a lot of fun stuff. And they're all about a person being who they are. So I don't have to wear a uniform or nothing like that. I'm excited. But man, I hope I can start this Monday and not have to wait until the 30th, because then I got to figure out how to survive another couple of weeks. Damn it. I'm tired of figuring out how to survive. When will we start getting paid by YouTube again? Well, I will be getting a small YouTube check next Friday, just a little one, enough to pay one of my bills, which I already had to call today and say, hey, I need you to postpone when the due date of this bill, because I won't have the money for it until next, the end of next week. And they said, okay, cool. So I'm like, yay, thumbs up. So I'll get a little bit of YouTube. I'm already across the threshold, so that next month I'll get a little bit of YouTube. But once I start this new job and the official schedule of working evenings, I'll have so much time to start making content and be alone, no distractions. It's going to be great. I'm super excited about it. And about that time, it'll be time to start throwing in a couple of Egotastic Fun Time videos over on the bigger channel as well. So things are starting to work up. It just takes a while, and time isn't something I have a lot of. The time to wait is really tough, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about the Orville all the dang time. Concerned onlooker, yes. I hate to say it, but yes. He says, they say, need a little cash to get you over the hump? Yeah, unfortunately. But if I don't have it, that's fine. I will just say, all you bill collectors, you just gonna have to wait until I get my first paycheck from this job. Dag nammit. You ain't gonna kick me out of my house. I'll just stay here and won't let you move me out. No, it probably won't come to that. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's going to be really rough, but we can do it. We're a strong family. This family that I have is stronger than time. Kind of like Gordon's family. Dex says JP's going to rule the internet. That is the goal. And it's going to be a kinder internet when I rule it. I won't necessarily be the kind one. I might have to lay down the law once in a while, but hopefully the result will be a kinder, better internet for us all to enjoy. Man, I kind of want to have you guys just wait a second real quick, because I do want to respond to this this message I just got. Let me do it. Are you guys okay if I just respond to this real quick? It'll be quick. Let me do it, because it's on my mind and I don't want to be distracted. Almost done. Almost done. Let me tell them that I'm live right now. Okay. And a little smiley face, because that's how I do. I learned years ago to always do little emojis and stuff to show your mood, because a text world is not a very well understood world. I guess you can understand that a little bit with this episode that we're going to watch. Majority rule. Okay, message sent. All good. It's back to us. Margot B, how are you doing? Irie. Archmage Frey says, make sure to add an Orville hashtag to everything you review. That's right. That's right. They say that's great. Okay, good. Message received. I went and saw Beetlejuice yesterday. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. I'm like, well, I can't do much, but I can at least take you to a movie. So we went and saw Beetlejuice. She was very much wanted to see that movie. We had a blast. The movie was so much fun. We'll eventually watch the first. We were going to watch the first Beetlejuice, but you know how these revival movies and sequels and stuff, when movies are available all the time on all these streaming services, but when a new version of the movie comes out, the revival or the sequel, all of a sudden it costs money to rent. None of the streaming services have them for free anymore. So eventually it'll be free again and we'll watch it. Or when I get my paycheck, I'll rent it and we'll watch the first Beetlejuice. Better late than never, I suppose. All right, you guys, let's figure out this watch party. So the way the watch party works, for those of you who haven't been here before, I think everyone has been here before, But you got my ugly mug right here in the middle of the screen. We got Avis looking at us over there. I had to shove some stuff in the corner. You might notice my Orville stuff isn't on the back wall anymore because I had to. My first interview for the new job was a Zoom call, online interview. So I was like, well, I got to throw this Orville stuff off the wall and put some pictures up or something. I haven't changed them back yet. I have to wait to buy some new Velcro stuff so I can stick the Orville stuff back on the wall because it don't have Velcro that works anymore. But anyway, so you got my ugly mug right here. Beneath me will be the episode, a sliver of the episode. You can't show the whole episode because I'll get put in YouTube jail if I do that. And but the sliver of the episode will also have all the subtitles of the episode, so you can see what's going on in the episode, even if you don't have it queued up on your end of the watch party. And then we'll be chatting about it. I'll be throwing out some facts about the episodes, some commentary about the episodes. Feel free to say everything you guys want to say because I'll be responding to you guys as well. And we're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. And on 1, we all press play. So 5, 4, 3, 2, play is how it's going to go. And when you guys are ready, you just let me know. Are you ready to watch Majority Rule? One of the best damn sci-fi episodes of any sci-fi show out there, and definitely one of the greatest groundbreaking episodes from the Orville that got people to start noticing this show. Good things happen for the Orville because of this episode. Margot B is ready. Norm is ready. What's going on, Norm? It's good to see you. Deck is ready. Official channel member Deck. Archmage Frey is also an official channel member. You just can't see it right now because it's another account. But this is the Monkey Wrench account, isn't it, Archmage Frey? Lone Puppy is locked and loaded. Archmage also says majority rule, then minority drool. That's not nice. Yeah, that's not part of the new JP internet. We're going to be a kinder internet. We don't drool. We use spittoons here on the JP internet. All right, I got the sound off on the episode so we don't get flagged. I think we're all good. I got my play button ready. Just got to click on it. All right, so we're going to start the episode. Season 1, Episode 7, Majority Rule, The Orville, coming at you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is. We start off in Lycella's room. I even moved the image up a little bit more than our previous watch parties because it was getting a little rowdy there with legality of doing these watch parties. So I was like, let me move it up a little bit. Hey, Pranakasha Productions. Matt is here, you guys. A kinder, gentler, super duper chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Did you hear about I got hired? I got hired at a job that I want. Hopefully start this Monday. If not, I have to wait till the 30th. But thank you so much for starting the super chat train. So we are Talking Heads Television. Everybody giving their opinions on everything. But this is the apology tour show. When a celebrity does something bad in our world, they kind of have to do an apology tour. They have to apologize. They have to go on social media and say, I'm really sorry I did that. I have to put out a YouTube video. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be better. Thanks, Matt. And this is Lysella, played by Georgia Wiggum, who you might recognize from the TED series. She's one of the stars of the TED series. A lot of Orville actors are on the TED series. And, of course, we're getting what I call T2, TED 2. Almost finished with that production. And once they're done with filming TED 2, they're going to move right on to the Orville. And I have heard that the reason Seth MacFarlane hasn't made a big official announcement about the Orville yet on the social medias is because it's in his contract. They have to wait until TED 2 is done being filmed or done being edited or something like that. And then he's allowed to say, hey, we're doing the Orville. And so that must be coming soon because that's pretty much almost done. Irie says, so proud to be us. Did you see the Polaris Dawn spacewalk? I saw something on the internet, some video of that. It didn't really look like much of the video that I saw, but it was just a quick little thing on Twitter. I'm a Twitter guy, you guys. So this guy gets scared, and they just shoot him, not tase him, nothing. They just shoot him. They shoot to kill. This whole punishment isn't killing them. It's just making them brain dead, pretty much. So why didn't they tase the dude? They shot him. It shows how serious this is. That blew my mind when I first saw this episode, because we're still learning what the Orville is. And these last couple episodes that we've watched of the Orville, and the next couple episodes, really are a game changer each time. You learn something new about what the show is capable of. Concern Onlooker says it was fake because there's no stars in the background. The video I saw, there was almost nothing in the background because it was too zoomed into the astronaut. Archmage Frey making them brain dead, just like the social media of today, just like reality television of today. I want to go back to the Caliban. Are they brain dead from all the reality television? It worked on us. Will it work on them? So the episode Majority Rule. Favorite quote from Bordas is in this episode, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. A voice should be earned, not given away. And in this world, everybody has a voice. And in our world, everybody thinks they have a voice, and they're going to share it on on social media. Not everybody needs to be sharing their voice on social media. Every time I meet someone that's on social media, I'm so freaking impressed. And then I hear the things they have to say to me in person. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad you're not on social media because you cray. Archmage says the Caliban revert to the pack held from Star Trek, the Pacled from Star Trek. Make our ship go. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Make our ship go. Those chubby dudes with the weird faces. They're dum-dums. I know what you're saying. Hey, Deck, thank you so much. A bit of cash for the guy. Thank you for that super chat. Official channel member, Deck. I kind of want to say throwing out the bits, but that's on Twitter. Hey, we are on Twitter right now. I don't know if anyone's watching on Twitter. If you're watching on Twitter, say something in the chat. It'll show up right here. We can see you. You are welcome here. This was hilarious to me. Walking around in skinny jeans. John's introduced the skinny jeans. Right? So Majority Rule is the 7th episode of the first season of the Orville. John Lamar is arrested by the police of a developing planet, and it is up to the crew of the USS Orville to rescue him. The title refers to the planet's government by absolute unstructured democracy. The episode examines mob mentality, which we've all seen on the internet. There's a lot of pitchforks and torches on the internet, you guys. People will just hang on. They'll latch on and hang on to anything just to feel powerful, I guess. The Court of Public Opinion and the Role of Social Media. It was written by Seth MacFarlane, who later said he was inspired by the book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. That's the name of the book. Majority Rule was directed by Tucker Gates. Tucker Gates has directed a bunch of A-List, the show A-List, and Lost. And it features the music of John Debney. We know John. He's a good music person for the Orville. And like I said, Georgia Wiggum guest stars as a local coffee barista named Lysella. I think Lysella is going to be in season 4 of the Orville. She was still on the ship in the season 3 finale. Archimage Frey says, I prefer the Night Court of Public Opinion. Love me some Night Court. So Majority Rule proved to be a ratings hit, and Fox renewed the Orville for a second season several days later. This episode was so damn good, numbers-wise, that Fox said, Oh, we're going to renew season 2. We're doing it. They usually don't renew a new show so quickly. This show has only had this is only its 7th episode ever. Usually they wait a little bit longer before they do a second season, announce a second season of the show, unless it's a show that's been around for a bunch of years and has a big audience, like The Simpsons. Easy. Will The Simpsons be renewed next year? You guys are probably wondering. Yes, it will. You can count on that. It's the second most watched episode of the series overall. Okay, right here. This is mostly, well, this is Century City. Century City is where the Fox lot is, just a small little part of Los Angeles. I used to work at the Century City Mall for a few years, so I know exactly where this is. But also some parts of the city were filmed in downtown Los Angeles, like outside of Lycella's coffee shop. But the last time I went and visited the Fox lot, I was right here in Century City. There's this one building that has like a hole in the middle of it. Jessica and I went on a tour of that building, walked around a little bit. This area reminds me very much of the Starbucks that used to be that's right there, but I don't think that's this spot right here. So some of this is downtown LA and some of it is Century City, which is just right outside of the Fox lot. You say Bustin' Jeeber? We all know who he meant, right? And so, and man, you guys, I wanted to wear my button. I have a screen used badge, up vote, down vote badge. I have one. It works. Turn it on, the light comes on, everything. It's from the show. They sent it to me, but it's in a box somewhere in the garage. And I was like, oh, I don't have time to go through the garage and find it, but I know exactly where it is. It's being worn by the new Anger Neutral, who I have in a box. How far in are we? We are, sorry, the subtitles are going to disappear real quick. 9 minutes and 46 seconds. What's up, Vendetta? How you doing? Let me get through the synopsis. You know what goes on in this episode. Okay, so writing. The script for this episode was written entirely by Seth MacFarlane in mid 2016. So it's been a bunch of years now. Probably sometime around June and no later than October. The idea for Majority Rule came on the heels of reading So You've Been Publicly Shamed by author Jon Ronson. In fact, MacFarlane recommended Ronson's book in June 2017 while filming the episode. He says, I read that book. He later recalled, I was fascinated and disturbed and came in the day after I finished it and said, we have to write about this. During the episode's premiere, MacFarlane remarked that he was inspired to write optimistic, episodic science fiction. And that right there, I think, is what sci-fi audiences are really latching on. That's why they really latched onto the Orville, is because all other sci-fi at this time was not doing this. Most of it is not doing it now. There's a few little exceptions to the rule, but the Orville is doing that real Gene Roddenberry style science fiction. One fun trivia tidbit is when Jay Lee auditioned for the role of John Lamar, part of his audition was to hump a statue. So they'd already had this episode written before they cast John, and they had to have him hump the statue to see if it worked, if it looked good on camera. Man, that was some of the best humping I've ever seen. Yeah, TOS style episodes, optimistic and episodic, with a little bit of a continuing story throughout all the episodes that are, and the continuing storylines are just the growth of the characters. We learn more about the characters as the episode goes on. So specifically, MacFarlane has cited the case of Justine Sacco in reference to writing this episode, a South African woman whose tweets intended to parody a racist American were taken as serious by Gawker and other media sources. A public online shaming campaign ignored her explanation and resulted in enormous worldwide backlash, and she lost her job. The Gawker blogger later apologized, admitting he stoked public ire to generate ad revenue. And that's another thing I've noticed about social media is all these people that are just stoking the flames of this stuff just to get ads, just to get clicks. I've been complaining about that for years. People that review all the different movies and TV shows that are coming out, it's usually crappy reviews because they're trying to get those clicks. This is this episode is kind of coming from that type of mindset. Get out those mobile devices. Do it, Earthlings. That's how we are. Can't go to a concert without everyone bringing out their phone to record something they're never going to watch. There he is. And they had to make these badges for all these extras. And I love how the clothing is so similar. This is basically 21st century Earth, just like that. So all the clothing, everything is very familiar. They just made small changes and tweaks. They made like ties with weird knots, double lapels, small little changes like that. So it looks like us, but also slightly different. At the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con, MacFarlane reflected, "We wrote that episode the summer of, I don't know, was it 2 years ago? We thought we were all innovative. And 5 months later, the Black Mirror episode Nosedive comes out, and we're like, she S-word. Everyone's going to think we're ... laugh, laugh, laugh. But it's clearly a common concern given the fact that two shows touched on this topic independently." So a lot of people were saying that the Orville ripped off Nosedive. I remember it when everybody was doing that. I did the research. I'm like, no, the episode was written like 5 months before that episode ever came out. And of course, they knew nothing about the episode. It was a topic people were thinking about at the time, how social media is affecting the way we absorb information. And Seth also says, look, it's incredibly creepy. I think there are good things about social media and Twitter. We've seen a speediness of acceptance for certain marginalized groups that I think without the unification of social media would have taken a lot longer. That's the positive side of social media. The downside is that it can become a mob very quickly. And I think we all can agree with that. And he goes, I think it's very creepy. We're not evolved enough as a species not to succumb to the rush of joining a group that is ganging up on another group or individual. There's a weird rush that gives a lot of people, when they become a part of it, like a mob rush. It's too soon to independently govern ourselves in the way that social media tends to do so. And I've seen that over and over again. I've said it over and over again. I'm like, we're not ready. I think it's good. Social media can be great, but so many of us are not ready for it, whereas some of us are ready for it. I'm ready for it now. I wasn't years ago. I had to take myself out of this out of the whole situation and look at it from the outside and look at myself from the outside interacting with it to know the difference of what's going on and what people are posting, why they're posting it, good or bad. You always have to look at the motivations of the post. This was such a great scene. John is learning how the world works at the same time we're learning how the world works, and it's ridiculous to him, ridiculous to us, probably even more ridiculous to him being from 400 years in our future. Pranakasha Production says, I started a firestorm on my personal Facebook page by declaring that I was an independent voter. Independent. You can almost post anything. You can say you like pineapple on a pizza. People are going to gang up on you. I love pineapple on a pizza. Pineapple and ham and black olive. I love it. Put a little jalapeno in there. I'm a little older now. I can handle a little jalapeno. I love it. But I try not to eat much pizza because the carbs are bad. Stupid carbs. Yeah, and I love it later when it's coming up, but we all love the spaceman scene where he really does freak out. First, he's not taking it seriously, and then he freaks out. I'm a spaceman. He's willing to, you know, put aside all the rules of blending in to say, I'm a spaceman. You guys know I'm from space just to get out of this situation. Yeah, he ain't laughing now. Here we go. So, predictions of political events. Social media has done far more harm than good to our society. The plague of disinformation campaigns necessitates this very basic statement. That's what Seth said. Fans had long pointed to majority rule for its, I don't know this word. It looks like pre-science, but that doesn't sound right. Prescience, an example of how society is replacing morality with sentiment. Seth MacFarlane, in particular, called attention to China's impending Golden Shield surveillance program, whereupon its own citizens will receive a citizen score. You guys remember that in the news? To incentivize good behavior. Citizens with low citizen scores will have their travel rights restricted, and analysts speculate that the basis for lowering or raising one score could include political opinions. McFarland called it majority rule in practice and unsettling. Like that one lady, she couldn't get coffee. She couldn't go into the coffee shop because her rating was too low. She got kicked out. That's her citizen score is low. What's up, Maria? How you doing? So I applied for a social media content moderator job, Maria, and I got it. Hopefully, I'll start this Monday if there's room for me in the 4-week training class. But if there isn't room, I'm already on the list as the first alternate. I'm going to show up anyway. Hopefully, I get in. If not, I have to wait until the 30th. Ooh, gotta wait till the 30th. Weeks away. I want to start now. This is America. I want it now. So reception, viewership of this episode. This is great. The episode aired on October 26th, 2017, 2 weeks after the previous episode, Krill. So the episode before was Krill, which we watched last week. It waited 2 weeks before the Orville skipped a week because there was a baseball game. I remember this too. I remember I'm like, sports ball. I want to watch the Orville, but they had sports ball instead, and then the show came back the next week. But the game was the Los Angeles Dodgers, or as my people call it, the Doyers, and the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, I come from Southern California. We call them the Doyers. Majority Rule was well received by TV audiences and enjoys an 8.5 rating on IMDb. Wow, IMDb, you guys can't believe it. It was seen by 4.18 million viewers in the United States, the most viewers since episode 2, Command Performance, which was also a Sunday night show, and the most since moving to the Thursday night time slot, with additional 3 million DVR viewers for this episode. The episode had 7.28 million total viewers, second only to the pilot, Old Wounds. And then they had a chat show called The Chat. One of you were kind of years ago to send me, you made a replica of the Chat coffee mug, sent it to me. I have it in my cupboard with all the coffee mugs. I use it. I love it. I should have brought that here, but I'm so busy these days, you guys. Chronic Trashers talking to Sam West. I have preferred pea and pineapple and jalapeno, I guess jalapeno pizza since the 90s. Yeah, I've always preferred it. I love it. A little of that sweetness. I've been making a lot of dinners I've been making a lot of Indian food lately. I made something the other day. I'm like, pineapple would be great. Time I didn't have jalapenos, so put some jalapenos in there. My wife is a big jalapeno fan, and because of that, I have become a jalapeno fan because she used to make a lot of stuff with jalapenos in it. Dulce y picante. Hi, picante. Not the brand picante though. So Jackson's following your trend. All right, where are we at? Critical response. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. There's more. There's more. Majority Rule would prove to be one of the most popular episodes of season one in terms of total viewership, and it solidified the Orville as Fox's highest-rated Thursday 9 p.m. broadcast in 2 years. This is the highest-rated show for Thursday nights, which is a big night for TV in 2 years for Fox. So it was breaking records, you guys. Critical response. In contrast to audience reactions, the episode received leaning positive reviews from critics. Now, this is back in the days where critics were still tearing apart the show, but they started doing that less and less as the show just totally proved, without a doubt, that it was an amazing show. Jammer of Jammers Reviews awarded the episode 3 out of 4 stars, noting that Orville feels like it's starting to find itself. At the very least, it feels more like it's finding me. That's actually a very lovely statement. Daniel Calbon of World of the Nerd gave Majority Rule 8.8 out of 10, noting that the episode is less a commentary on social media than on mob mentality and praising the cast's strong acting performance. Excuse me, you guys. Nick Wanserski of the AV Club gave the episode a negative review. What does he know? He don't know nothing. Michael R. of Den of Geek gave the episode 2.5 stars, probably out of 3, maybe 4. So the season 2 renewal, Majority Rule boasted strong ratings overall, and by some measurements, the best performance after the pilot. 4 days later, Fox announced that it had picked up the show for a second season, making the Orville the second renewed series after The Simpsons. What? The renewal was considerably early for a series in its freshman year. Yes, it was. But people are starting to realize, whoa, this show's actually really damn good. And they renewed it for season 2, and now we know Disney has renewed the Orville for season 4. Can't wait for production to start. Can't wait for news of production to start coming through. We can start talking about it. Pics, stills. I'm sure one of the very first things that they're gonna, well, not very first. I mean, probably they'll show some of the construction from the other side of the plywood wall. Not revealing anything, but they'll show people have been working on building sets. But then eventually we'll get to the very first cast reading. The very first cast reading, there will definitely be pictures taken and shown to us probably the same day. And that's when things are going to be really exciting, because when they start doing the table read, that means they're just a couple days to a week away from filming an episode. Trust me, I know. I've been in the Orville game for a while now. I've been following along with all production ever since the start of season 2. I was late to the game with season 1. I didn't even see the first episode, never even heard of it really until a week or 2 after it aired. Oh, here we go. Here is a little nod or jab at cultural appropriation, which was a big topic at the time. I mean, it's still a topic. It was starting to become a big topic at the time, and people are rolling their eyes, and other people are like, other people are like, so they brought it up in this episode here with the Kelvic hat. I have not seen any videos of the Orville table reads. I would love that. I would love to see the audition tapes. I'd be big on seeing the audition tapes. I would love to see Jay Lee's audition, because for the audition he had to hump a statue. for this episode. They wanted to make sure he was the right choice to hump a statue. I would love to see that because that was probably a lot of fun. Lone Puppy says this show just reminded me of the TOS episode Bread and Circuses, where they televise Roman gladiators. Yes. Well, this episode is a little bit of a nod to Star Trek. Star Trek very often would have visit worlds which were kind of similar to Earth, just with small differences. And that sounds like one of those where they probably had current technology that Earthlings are used to, but with something crazy like the Roman gladiators battling it out. It's like bum fights, but for gladiators. So this episode actually aired on Seth MacFarlane's 44th birthday, which was October 26, 2017. Seth is now 50 years old. I guess he'll be celebrating his 51st birthday next month. Happy birthday, Seth. You heard it here first. Ed asked Mortis to look into adding snacks, and that comes later. We'll get to that one. This scene here where they set her down and talk to her, and then Laura impresses her with bending that, was it a butter knife? Of course, that's a classic gag that's been done on a million shows over the last 50 years. Bending a fork, bending a spoon, bending a bar. It's not we can pretty much figure out how they did that effect. They just had a fake butter knife that looks like metal, that easily bends. Boom, bend it. The end. It's not a gray hair on his head. Well, I'm sure he's probably had a little help with the color of his hair. I would love to see Seth with some gray hair. I think it would look distinguished on him. Archmage says that episode had the twist. They aren't worshiping the sun captain, they're worshiping the sun. Dun dun dun. That's a whole different letter. One has a U and the other has an O. Turning it upside down. So now they're learning about the what do they call them? Anthropologists, anthropologists. I can't remember what kind. It's anthropologist, I think. Which is crazy because when we get to space and there's other worlds and other planets, there will be a different type of anthropology. Right now, anthropologists are just digging up sites, got their little brushes in the dirt. Oh, here's a bone. Oh, I found a femur. Oh, here's a clay pot. But it'd be a totally different job in the future. And then we meet him. This episode to me is very much like a Twilight Zone episode. Imagine a world where people had a 100% unstructured democracy. That's very classic Twilight Zone and Star Trek as well. Imagine a world where everyone's hippies. Star Trek. Hi, Claire. I remember you. I remember. One fun tidbit is this episode is actor Scott Grimes' favorite episode, at least at the time. His favorite episode now might be Twice in a Lifetime, I would think. But at the time, this was Scott Grimes' favorite episode back in the season 1 days. So in the previous episode, Krill, which we had a great time watching last week. I had a great time with that stream. Mercer and helmsman Gordon Malloy use holographic generators to disguise themselves perfectly as native Krill. Katan Alara could have used that device to simply mask her alien features instead of wearing the hat and having the Band-Aid on her nose. She could have used that. However, Mercer and Malloy received those holographic generators as part of a specific undercover operation. It may be that such generators are not available for regular planetary contact missions. Oh man, this cracked me up. where he's just being like he's the winner. He's coming on down on The Price is Right, and everyone's booing. He's giving the high fives. That did not go how he thought it was going to go. So the episode's resolution, where Isaac plants fake news stories in the master feed to sway Sargus Four's public opinion, predicts the potential impact fake news may have in swaying public sentiment. Yeah, a lot of episodes of the Orville have predicted certain things that eventually become a thing in the real world. What? You can't help them? Claire can't help her friend, her special scientist doctor friend. The damage is too severe to his brain, and they want to do this to John. No, my friends, we're not going to let that happen. Oh, I don't know who wrote any. Maybe one of you guys know who wrote that episode of the original series. Man, I wish I had my button on me. I love my button. I haven't seen it in a while because I packed it away when I was moving stuff around, and I haven't unpacked it yet. And to tell you the truth, I'm always moving stuff around. I'm never happy with this room. It's always on my mind. It's like even after I move everything, I'm like, I got to move everything. There's just no way to make it perfectly what I want it to be. When I think of a great situation, I'm like, oh, but there's a window right here. It's in my way from making that happen. Stupid window. I don't even. I have you covered up. I don't need your light and your view of the neighbors. That is, you gotta. You really the way the Orville is, and all the values that the union is based on that not everybody even knows yet because the new Andre Bormanis book, the Guide to the Orville, isn't out yet. Coming out real soon though, just a few weeks. To pull someone out and expose them to future technology is a huge, huge no-no. And we remember in Star Trek, Captain Kirk, Captain Picard, Captain anybody, they would do stuff that was against the rules all the time. It was okay if everything works out. This might be one of those situations where you did something really bad that really goes against the rules, but it's okay because things worked out. Dex says, I didn't start watching The Orville until before New Horizons premiered. I knew of it. Seth's always been my favorite celebrity. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember when people were learning about the show, they saw trailers for New Horizons. Like, oh, I got to watch the show and get caught up before the new season starts. And you're in that group of people, Deck. We're so glad that you came aboard. So many people are doing that now because even now people are still just learning. Well, even if they're not just learning about the Orville, they're finally watching the Orville uh, because there's so much stuff out there. People are just letting things slide by, and then enough time goes by, they're like, eh. Now so many people are giving kudos to the Orville. People are biting the bullet and watching, and once they watch, we got them. All someone has to do to love the Orville is watch it, and once they watch it, we got them. So many people are showing up every day. Have you watched the Orville? Does anybody watch the Orville? And they're saying that because they want to be a part of a group, and we got a great group. We got the best group. Pranakash just says Gene Roddenberry, Gene L. Kuhn. Interesting, since GR was typically against religion. Well, sometimes it's okay with the religion if it's just explaining something, explaining the situation. Archimedes Frey says, I'm so glad the show is what it is. The first trailers made it look like a marginally funny uh, uh, sends up of Trek, and it smashed preconceived notions right in the face. Yeah, people were confused because the Orville was advertised by Fox as a goofy comedy because Seth MacFarlane is known for Family Guy and all the other animated series. They didn't know how to handle it. But the show isn't that. The show is funny, it has comedy, but really it's a heartfelt tribute, homage to not just Star Trek, but all science fiction. Optimism. It's about helping people. Well, we really got to help John in this episode before he gets his brain fried. He's a spaceman after all. So this episode takes place around December 2419, or possibly early 2420, around January or February. So this is 2419. The exact dates don't matter too much because 400 years in the future. If you give or take a year, it's not going to make a big deal. But we're in December of 2419. Star date 2419. These things got serious. I've always noticed that security guard's face when he points that gun at Kelly. His face is just so quiet. Nothing wrong with what he did, but I just always notice that guy's face. So the script takes a lighthearted jab at the theory of cultural appropriation when the Kelvic man tells Alara she's literally pissing on his heritage by wearing a traditional Kelvic hat. We already talked about that. It was hilarious, but also was like, that's the internet right there, over sensitizing or sensationalizing situations. Because really, what was Alara doing? She was wearing a hat, just wearing a goofy hat. Archimage says we need Connor Trenier to guest as a low-ranking officer on the Orville who Ed gets to yell at. That'd be a turn of the tables, would it not? Because in Enterprise, and I know this is why you're saying it. In Enterprise, Seth MacFarlane played a low-level engineer who gets yelled at by Connor Trenier, by Trip. That would be a fun twist. And those who know why how great the scene would be, and other people are like, oh, cool. Just think it's a good scene. They don't get all the inside Easter eggs about it. Oh, he's a veteran. That works. That works on social media here too. That works with car sales. Patriotism works with selling things. At least that's what people who sell things try to go for, to take advantage of people. When I see a car sale and it's just American this, American that, I'm like, you're using people's patriotism to sell stuff. I see it. I see it. I see what they're doing. Oh, I'm getting lost in the episode, you guys. Yeah, don't forget Anthony Montgomery. That's Travis Mayweather. He's on my list of I got something going on that I'm thinking about Anthony Montgomery, about him. There's stuff about him I like. Now I'd always give him a hard time during Enterprise. On Star Trek, I always pick one character to be like, whatever. You see it with Wesley. Once Picard said, "Shut up, Wesley," I was shut up, Wesley every single episode that Wesley was in Star Trek. Mayweather was the same thing to me. Every time Travis Mayweather said anything, I'd be like, "Shut up, Travis." And that's even till today. If I watch an episode of Enterprise, I still do that. It's great fun. Dex says, I know this fandom is awesome, and so is this YouTube community. Thank you. I'm thankful to be a part of it. Well, I'm thankful that all of you are here. And all the people that aren't here right now, I'm thankful for you guys too. I'll see you on the other side of the live when you're just watching the playback of this live show. Welcome. Welcome new people that aren't here live but are here after the fact. You are also much appreciated. So great. Such a great episode of the Orville. And this one, unlike the last episode, had that nice uplifting ending. And here's the uh, the aftermath of that optimism. That's it's just a little hint that things are getting better, and it's starting with Lysella. All it takes is one person to do better, as Jaylee would say, do better, and Lysella is doing better. When she returns in the season 3 finale, and she's saying things are gotten so bad on her planet, I would love to explore that a little bit more. We know things are bad on her planet. She's tired of it. That could just be a person sick of something. People get sick of things all the time. So tired of this job. So tired of this neighborhood. So tired of this town. It could be that. But also, I'd love to visit Sargus 4 and really see what the situation is. Maybe in season 4, we can actually do something for them. I don't know if we can introduce ourselves to them because even though in the episode Ed says, "Hey, why don't we just let ourselves be known?" And the fact that they know that there's life out there might unify them. Don't play that game. That doesn't happen. If they're the same level of evolution that we currently are in the 21st century, we wouldn't be ready. If aliens came down, we're not going to unify. Some of us might unify our military to try to take them on. Others will probably try to woo them to get favor, but we're not going to all of a sudden just be a peaceful people. That worked in the Star Trek universe when the Vulcans came down, but I don't think that really would have happened. That was that was just looking on the bright side of sci-fi uh, Star Trek, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. Uh, Norm says, I cannot believe they won't make some kind of story for that. I hope so. In season 3, we got so many great follow-ups to stories from the previous 2 seasons. I kind of feel it's time in season 4. I mean, of course, get some new adventures, new things going on, new situations to introduce us to follow up later on in season 5, 6, or 7. But Sargus 4, we got a little taste of it in season 3. Let's go a little bit further in season 4. Want to follow up on the Caliban. Want to follow up on the bioship. What happened to those people in the episode, next week's episode, Into the Fold, that whole planet with those cannibals and people they got the illness, the poison, they're poisoned, the water's poison, whatever the situation was. We were there at the end of the episode to help them. But what happened to that planet? What happened to the people? Did we officially start bringing back their numbers, making their environments better, getting rid of the poison? Do they have a great society now? Are they good people? Are they bad people? Are they dumb people? What's going on with that planet? There's so many things. Well, some things were introduced in season 3, like Tennis, the emotional robot. I want to see more from him in season 4. I also want the Kalon to get some emotions going on in those that are available to have the upgrade. Actually, they're all available to have the upgrade. I'm sure all of the Kalon that are too old to get the update without erasing their entire memory banks, they didn't have the life of Isaac, that are crazy experiences that Isaac has had. So they'd probably be willing to erase themselves to get the emotional update and start fresh and new. So Kalon's going to be very interesting in the next season. This episode, such a good one, you guys. Such a good one. Looking at some of the different titles around the world, different countries. Like in Chinese, the episode's called Majority Rule, but in French, it's called A Total Democracy. In German, it's called Majority Principle. Hungary, it's called Overwhelming Majority. Italian, it's called The Majority Wins. Japanese, Majority Society. Russian, The Rule of Majority. Let's just call it Russian. Well, I guess that isn't true in Russia. In Russia, it's the rule of the one. Spanish, also the rule of the majority. And in Ukraine is called the majority rule. This is such a great episode. I am thinking, I've told you this before, when I finally get time, once I get my official schedule for this new job, and I'll have plenty of time to start making some really great stuff. So excited about that. I think I want to do a full, at least audio files, do audio content of commentaries for every episode of the Orville. That, not just rambling and stuff like that, but actually have something laid out to really give great facts about the episode that we're watching or talking about, that can just be played over the episode anytime you want. All these facts that I've been getting is from the Orville fan wiki. I highly recommend checking out the fan wiki. It is so in depth. I mean, layers on layers on layers on layers, everything having to do with the Orville. It's been a project since episode 1 came out, and I'm sure when season 4 comes out, it'll start getting updated again with all new information. There is a link in the description of this video to the Orville fan wiki for this episode, but I highly recommend exploring the entire site, because, man, is it in depth. Archimage says, maybe there is an encroaching threat, and it's between the non-interference of letting them fall to a potential enemy. Right? Right? Because there's other alien races out there. What if the Krill discover Sargus 4? And they're like, oh, let's start messing with these peeps. And then we have to come in and save them. And we can expose ourselves because now they now know that there's alien races out there because the Krill started attacking them. That would be great. Lone Puppy says it would be great to have audio commentary from the actors, directors, and producers, right? We don't have much of that from the actual show. I mean, they've all done some great interviews. Season 3, especially with Inside the Orville featurettes that they did for every single episode, as well as they did one for the entire season. Those are great, but actual commentaries, Lone Puppy says, I used to watch DVD commentaries. It was interesting to hear background stories. They are very interesting. There's lots of fans out there of different types of content that like getting that behind the scene conversation going, and they can listen in and be a fly on the wall and be part of it and learn so much. The Orville, as far as DVDs and physical media go, not much going on. Fox released season 1 and season 2 on DVD, not Blu-ray, because Fox doesn't really do much with Blu-ray. They had a meeting years and years and years ago. Blu-ray sales were kind of flat. They're like, let's not waste time and money on Blu-rays. We'll throw up some DVDs because it's cheap and simple. Season 3 isn't available in physical media. It's only available digitally. You can buy the Orville season 3, well, any of the seasons really, but you can get season 3 digitally, own it on Amazon Prime Video. And then watch it whenever you want, commercial free, and the video quality is really dang good, much better than the streaming services. That's a question. That's a video I want to make soon. It'll be a talking head video, me just talking with you guys about the DVD situation. I think the Orville is part of kind of an experiment because they're trying to be proactive in whatever the audience is into at the time. People aren't into there are people that are into physical media, but not a lot of people that would make it worthy of the trouble. They wouldn't make much money on doing it at this time. But if the audience, if viewers prove that they are willing to purchase physical media, then of course physical media will be made. It's just the general market right now, it's not that big. DVDs, physical media is going the way of CDs. People don't buy CDs hardly at all anymore. It's very, very rare. You go to the places that used to have huge music CD collections for sale, Target, Walmart, Best Buy. It's all dwindled to just a tiny little shelf of best ofs, right? That's kind of where DVDs, our physical media is going in this digital age that just keeps getting more and more and more digital. So we'll have to see if the audience is able to let the studios know, hey, no, we want to kind of have this on our shelves. We want to be able to pop in an Orville disc and watch it whenever we want and not have to rely on the internet. But that'll be up to the general audiences, because when it comes to studios who make this stuff, money talks, and you know what? Walks. All right, Margot B. Actually, I have to go too. Margot B says, sorry, gotta go. JP, husband needs TV for football. Don't they all? Well, I'm a husband and I never need the TV for football. Unless it's European football and it's a TV show called Ted Lasso. I do like me some Ted Lasso, but who doesn't? But I do have to go as well. The wife is waiting for me to hang out for a little bit before I have to go to bed and start the next day all over again. Streaming this weekend. If not, good luck Monday. I will not be streaming this weekend. I'm trying to dedicate as much time as I can to starting this new job, getting the new job. That took forever. Getting ready for the new job is now the new focus. But once I will be doing much more Saturday live shows once the job starts, because I won't have time on the weekdays. So we're going to be having to move to Saturdays. And then when I actually start, when I get out of training of the new job, which is it's a 4-week process, start my new schedule, we'll be doing some more live shows on the weekdays, but they'll be earlier in the day. You know, months ago, I was doing shows earlier in the day. We'll have to go back to that because I'll have time. But that's all down the road, you guys. Right now, it's all about getting this job started, getting this family of mine taken care of, which is my number one goal above everything else. And then get back to doing what we do with the Orville. So I do want to thank you guys. And Matt says they got to figure out how to put videos on an LP and somehow get a phonograph to code it. They do need video phonographs. One thing they do sell now at these stores are records. They sell them for way too damn much. I'll see a record that's like $25, $30. I'm like, man, 10 years ago, I could have gotten the same exact record for 50 cents because nobody wanted these things. But now people want them, so the price goes up. Same thing as there's a new Beetlejuice movie. So the old Beetlejuice movie, you now have to pay to watch it. It's not going to be available for free anywhere. And then eventually it will. Money, money, money. Money makes the world go round. Up votes and down votes make Sargus 4 go round. But I want to thank you guys for joining me for this live show. There'll be another live show next week. Now, if I get to start that training next week, I'll have to move the live show up or out by probably 30 minutes because it does take 30 to 40 minutes to set up these watch party shows before I go live with them. But I'll be getting home at 6. So I'll need to come home I'll get home at 6 or 4 p.m. Pacific Coast time and come in here and get everything set up and then go live. So it'll probably be 30 minutes later, but maybe not. Maybe I won't get to start training. I hope I can start training. Avis, please let me start training. But I'll see you guys very soon. Remember, we all do better when we all do better. And let me press a button here that I want to press. And here's that button coming at you now.